Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. Time to fly to Syracuse, New York, my alma mater. Go Orangemen!
Oh my goodness, Russ Can Fly.
Okay, so taking a little break from the training. There is a very fascinating, interesting cookout in a park in Syracuse, New York that I'm gonna go to. And many of you might not know. One day I'll kind of explain like a little bit of like who is Russ Can Fly. But Syracuse University is one of my alma maters. Went there, had a great time, and I am a member of the illustrious, none other than Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So there's gonna be like a Greek cookout picnic up in Syracuse University area, and that's where I'm going to be going. So definitely looking forward to getting up there, seeing some people that I probably haven't seen in a couple decades, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Now here's the thing that's great about general aviation. If I were to drive this, take the drive from my home to Syracuse University or Syracuse, New York, probably take me about 5.5 hours. In Charlie, it's only going to take me about hour and a half. So general aviation for the win all day, baby. So anyway, already pre-flighted Charlie, gonna bring her out of the hangar, and we're gonna get on out of here. So definitely want to thank you all for following me along this instrument rating journey. It is kicking my behind, but definitely trying to stay on top of it. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get in the airplane. Let's do some flying. Let's go! All right, beacon's gonna come on. Anti-collision, nav. Fuel pump comes on. Fuel pressure is coming up. Turn the fuel pump off. Give it a couple shots to the carb. Clear prop. All right, everything is good. It's a good start. Avionics on. All right, let's get this ATIS. All right, map. All right, so desired track. So we're gonna go up to 6,500, and we are going to do a heading of 357. Basically, we're going north, people. We're going north. 357. Okay, good. All right, I always like to get that stuff in. Okay, now what I have to do is I'm gonna put in Philly approach because I want to get flight following. All right, we got everything in. Okay, let's go up. Let's check our brakes. Just creep up a little bit and then pull that brake lever back. Brakes are good. All right, very good. All right, so since I'm on the other side of the airport, and many of you don't know that Brandon is working on his airplane, and so he's in my hangar, so I'm back in my old hangar. And so, 6245 X-ray, the flight club. Actually, I flew with a good doctor in that Cessna 182. So I'm actually going to do my run up back here. And as you can see, there's the 182 up in front of me. All right, so let's go ahead. Mixture's going to go full rich. Run up. So I see you on the other side of the run up. All right, so we're on the other side of the run up. Everything is looking good. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for them to do their thing up in X-ray. So how's everybody doing? This is going to be a fun flight. This is going to be exciting. I haven't been to Syracuse. Man, it's been a minute. That's better. I was tangled. Why didn't you guys tell me I was tangled? But yeah, I haven't been to Syracuse in a minute. It's been quite a while. So I'm kind of excited. Like nervous excited. It's crazy. I'm hoping that I see Big Brother Butch. He's he's definitely one of the folks who loom large on the radar screen for me as it relates to Phi Beta Sigma. He really did help us, on my line, the Emoja line, get through all the things that we needed to get through during our pledge process. And, I definitely have mad love for the brother. I haven't seen him in decades. I mean, it's been a while, so it'll be great to see if he's out at the park. I'm hoping that he is out there.
Northbound
That'd be
traffic,
great.
Skyline 6245 X-ray departing runway 5, looking at left downwind departure.
All right, there we go. All right, so let's creep on up. All right, so that's them up there. They just called. All right, see you later, Skylane 5245 X-ray. That is a beast of an airplane. It scared me the first time I flew it, because that was the first airplane I flew that was over 200 horsepower. So it kind of freaked me out, but it was a great flight. All right, so I have an airplane coming up here, left base. So we'll wait for them to come on in and we'll get ready to blast off. As you can see, I just keep covering my front camera because that's the one that has the sound. And so I figured I'd keep that covered for as long as I can so that it doesn't get too warm on me. Yeah, this one is starting to heat up a little bit, but hopefully she usually does a little bit better in the heat, but I may cover her up too for a second. So I'll see you on the other side. I'm gonna cover her up. Okay, we're gonna get ready for takeoff here. So I'm gonna close this door and latch it. Mixture is full rich. It's gonna get a little warm in here, but that's okay, because I wanna go. Taxi landing light's gonna come on, fuel pump is gonna come on. Mixture is full rich. And we're ready to go. We'll just wait for them to call clear, and we'll get on out of here. Doylestown traffic, Cherokee 1541 Charlie, departing runway 5. We'll be going out to the north, Doylestown. All right, let's get it.
Doylestown traffic, Beechcraft Sierra 5 to the north, inbound 5 Doylestown, looking for that traffic.
All right, I see 5, and then 5. All right, heels to the floor, full power. All right, engine instruments in the green, oil temp, oil pressure, fuel pressure all look good, airspeed is coming alive.
And just before Charlie takes off, she starts to get light and then poof, off the runway.
I'm looking for this other traffic. All right, landing light can come off, fuel pump can come off. And Doylestown traffic, Cherokee 1541 Charlie, left crosswind turn out to the north. Last call, Doylestown. All right, let's lower that nose, get a little bit less aggressive climb. Good morning, Philly approach, November 1541 Charlie.
1541 Charlie, 0235 by 10.
Repeat 441 Charlie, got SEPT on.
41 Charlie, squawk 0235 by 10.
235. 0235 and ident for 41 Charlie.
November 1541 Charlie, radar contact about 3 north of the Doylestown Airport. Where are you going? What altitude?
Yeah, November 1541 Charlie, Piper Cherokee, currently 2,300, climbing 6,500, and going to Syracuse, Kilo, Sierra, Yankee Romeo.
November 1541 Charlie, gonna have traffic, 11 o'clock, 3 miles opposite direction, level 5,400, type unknown.
We'll be looking for traffic for 1541 Charlie. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I get flight following, especially since I'm going into a Class Charlie. As soon as he said my squawk code, somebody stepped on him. I'm like, really, people? All right, taxi landing light is off, fuel pump is off, mixture is still full rich, we're just climbing on out.
November 1541 Charlie, contact Allentown approach 124.45.
124.45. 124.45 for 41 Charlie, thank you. Allentown approach, November 1541 Charlie, 4,000, climbing 6,500.
November 1541 Charlie, Allentown approach, Allentown altimeter 3011. What altitude are you climbing to?
3011 and climbing to 6,500 for 41 Charlie.
41 Charlie, roger that. Allentown altimeter 3011. You got traffic to your 10 o'clock, 5 miles eastbound, level at 4,000 Cirrus.
All right, we'll be looking for traffic for 41 Charlie.
And correction on that, traffic is actually descending down to 35 out of 4,000.
Roger that for 41 Charlie.
There for 1 Tango Mike, traffic to your 1 to 2 o'clock, 5 miles northbound, climbing up out of 44 for 65 Cherokee.
Keep for 1 Tango Mike, we'll look for traffic.
All right, just wanted to make sure we are good. All right, just letting her climb on out. Get better at tripping her, you know. That's what I'm trying to do. 124.225. 124. All right, 1,000 to go. 124.225. So I can make sure I get that ATIS. 124.225. All right, got that in. And we're climbing out nicely. Engine temperatures are looking great. Climbing out right at VY.
November 41 Charlie, traffic no longer a factor.
Roger for 41 Charlie. All right, let's get that nose down. Let her build up some speed. Pitch. Trim her out. All right, watch your altitude. Correcting for my altitude. All right, so we are on our way to Syracuse. Little flight following action. And I'm just curious as to what they're using runway-wise. Just watching my altitude and my heading.
November 5 Lima Papa, radio check.
5 Lima Papa, where are you?
5 Lima Papa, I just gave you a traffic call.
Engine instruments in the green, fuel pressure, oil temp, oil pressure, all look good.
5141 Charlie, just verify your destination for me, please.
41 Charlie is going to Syracuse, Sierra Yankee Romeo.
November 41 Charlie, thank you.
Alright, just wanted to make sure that they knew where I was going. Right now,
301254 Hotel.
doing about 109 over the ground. 109 indicated. True airspeed 122 knots. Ground speed 116 knots. We're at 24.
November 6 South Sierra, clear direct
2421
Direct
RPM.
destination, 6 South Sierra.
And burning about 12.5 an hour.
November 50.
And as you can see, I'm hand flying. Definitely trying to get used to like hand flying, period. I might use autopilot on the way back, but we'll see. But I'm really just trying to figure out, just feel like, what cues do I get? Like I can tell I'm turning a little bit to the left there. So just looking for cues, like when I take up my hand off, if I have her trimmed, if she's starting to climb. No, she looks like she's good. Looks like we're trimmed out good. Ever so slightly.
Cherokee 1541 Charlie, contact Wilkesboro approach 120.905.
120.905 for 41 Charlie. Thank you for your help.
No problem.
Wilkesboro approach, November 1541 Charlie, 6,500.
November 1541 Charlie, Wilkesboro approach, Wilkes altimeter 3013, say destination.
3013 and November 1541 Charlie is going to Sierra Yankee Romeo.
Thank you.
And again, that's why I'm getting flight following too, just getting used to dealing with ATC, because in the instrument environment, that is something that's going to be happening all the time. And so I tend to have this thing where I rush when I'm talking. So I'm trying to be mindful to just quiet my mind and relax. And as you can see, I'm doing better with the frequencies too. Getting more comfortable with that. So all of those things are just all the building blocks that I'm trying to pull together to just be a better pilot, period, in the visual flight rules environment, so that I can be a better pilot in the instrument flight rules environment. And as you can see, I've been struggling. It is not easy. It is definitely difficult for sure, but it's so worth it. It's made me such a better pilot already. Like even just doing this, before I wouldn't even be worried about it, but like now I'm like really scanning and keeping my scan up. And yeah, every now and then I'll look out just to kind of enjoy what I'm seeing around. But yeah, really just enjoying myself here. So one of the things I'm curious about, I'm going to try to get the ATIS as soon as possible. The reason why I want to do that is because at some point they're going to hand me off to like New York approach, I would believe. And I want to make sure if I can get the current ATIS so that they know that I have the weather. I saw somebody do that, and it seemed like it was kind of like that height of professionalism type of thing. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to put the approach in, but there's several. Now what I should have done when I was on the ground, because there's multiple, but I'm sure it explains like which one you're going to use if you're either coming in at a particular heading, direction, altitude. So I probably could have figured that out, but it's all good. All gravy. Nothing to be worried about. So just enjoying this flying on my way to Syracuse. Can't believe it. Back in the 90s when I was on the yard, as they say, you could have never told me that one day I'd be flying back to the yard in my own airplane. Crazy. And I'm just so thankful for the good Lord, that the way He's blessed me and the people He's put into my life. And it's all worked for my good. Even my enemies, even the people who, did try to disparage me, who talked about me. All right, everything is good. We're on the right main. We'll be on the right main until for 30 minutes, and we will then
November 6 Alpha Sierra,
go over to the
350,
left
Victor
main.
ILS, runway 22.
Alright, so we got over to parachute jumping airport. That was the only other place I was worried about. And then there's a couple TRSAs, like TRSA, Terminal Radio something. I'll have to look it up and I'll pop it up there. But TRSAs are kind of like control areas around a specific area, airport. And this particular TRSA goes up to 6,000. But we're getting flight following, so even if I was below that, I wouldn't be worried about it. I don't know what airport that is over there. Alright, so just watching my altitude, bringing that diamond back in. I remember when I was training with Manish back in the day, and he would always say fly the diamond, and I had no idea what that meant. One of the things I got to do is she gave me my altimeter setting. I didn't put that in until later. I need to put that in pretty quickly. That way I don't forget to do that. And the altimeter is what I'm using to basically show like my altitude, you know. And so it's based on pressure. It's correcting for non-standard temperature and pressure. And so I got to make sure I put that in so that I'm at the right altitude. So that's important to make sure I do that. All right, so we've got another 126 nautical miles to go. There's somebody chasing me. But it's all good. And this is just so great that I get to do this as opposed to making the drive. You know, doing this as opposed to driving 5 hours, maybe longer because it's the weekend and there'd be a lot of traffic. So definitely something that I am happy about for sure. Alright, so I gotta watch my altitude here. So I'm just looking for traffic, paying attention to some clouds, making sure I'm good that way, and just monitoring everything. And so we are cruising on out. Everything is looking good. I'm just watching the timer there to switch my fuel tanks there. Going to be going over Scranton pretty soon. And as you can hear, the radio is much quieter out here than it is near Philadelphia. Yeah, let's go down just a touch. Just a touch. Everything is groovy. Cross at or above 4,000.
At or above 4,000.
So I forgot, I didn't catch the turn. I should have tried to make that call. But that last call when you're getting ready to get, you know, onto the approach. When they give you your position, then they tell you to turn left or right. Then they tell you your altitude to set or maintain, and then the clearance. Man, that's just, it's a lot. I mean, it's just so much. So I just got to get into practice, you know, get in the habit of just practicing more than anything. All right, fuel pump comes on, fuel pressure is good. Over to the left main is in. Fuel pressure looks good. Left main is in. Fuel pump can come off. All right, so I made my switch. And I'm good to go on the left main for the next half hour. Wilkesboro approach, this is November 1541 Charlie. Going to descend to 4,500 for clouds.
Last call, looking for climb for clouds.
This is November 1541 Charlie. Going to descend to 4,500 for clouds.
Number 41 Charlie, altitude 0 discretion, contact Binghamton approach 118.6, good day.
118.6 for 41 Charlie. Thank you for your help. Good day. Binghamton approach, November 1541 Charlie, 6,500 descending to 4,500 for clouds.
November 1541 Charlie, Binghamton approach, Binghamton altimeter is 3015, say destination.
3015 and destination is Syracuse, Sierra, Yankee, Romeo.
November 41 Charlie, roger.
Okay, so it got a little hairy. As you can see, I've actually put my autopilot on. I was at 6,500. And I had to descend down to 4,500. And it's really kind of bumpy underneath this cloud layer. So I was able to find a hole, dove down, you know, through it. But it's definitely a lot less smooth. And I definitely had to just switch to the autopilot real quick to just kind of take some tasks off of me. I got Scranton. Is it Scranton or Wilkesboro approach? Basically asked me what the flight conditions are like, and I told him it's bumpy underneath here. And so yeah, just wanted to be able to focus on some things, trying to see what's going on at Syracuse. So just remove the workload from me a little bit. But it's saying broken at 10,000. I think that's dropping a little bit, so we'll see. Few at 3,500. You can see if you look out here, like I'm underneath it about 1,000. It looks like I'm going to fly right into it, but I'm not. Believe me, I'm down below. I'm keeping legal. But as you can see up above this is like nothing. So I was kind of up there, but I was just worried about getting stuck up there, so I came on down to 4.5. So yeah, so it got a little bit hanky, but I'm trying to just see what runways they're using here, and I can't see anything yet, because that goes into how I'm going to taxi and that kind of thing as well. All right, so I'm inside the Tersa, but I'm talking to approach, so I'm good that way. But I'm not going to be into any of the class deltas. So I'm imagining I'll either get 10 or 1.5. Trying to figure out what the wind is doing here. No joy on the ATIS, and I might get handed off one more time. So yeah, so I hate to cheat, but you know, I wanted to keep this flight safe and legal, and you know, I was definitely running into some cloud issues and all of that kind of stuff, so we wanted to keep that clear. So I'm about 65 nautical miles out. We'll be getting into Syracuse at 20 after 1. So I keep hoping I get this this ATIS. As you can see, I'm getting bumped around pretty good. It's much smoother up above for sure, but like I said, I wanted to remain legal, and I don't think I would have been able to up there. As a below, I have to be 500 below, but up high.
Attention all aircraft, hazardous weather information available on flight service frequencies.
And this is the reason why I wanted to get flight following too. It's just because of these different Tersas. And like I said, Syracuse is a Class Charlie. So I was going to have to call approach control anyway. So it just made sense to make that happen, to just get flight following. I will say I'm cooking. Let me see what's happening here. So I got a right quartering crosswind, 39 knots. And I am doing true airspeed, indicated airspeed 114, true airspeed 124 knots, ground speed 131 knots. So we're cooking at 2420 RPMs. Still burning about 12.9, 12.8 gallons an hour. So no joy on the ATIS yet, and haven't been able to get that. And still making my way. We're about 46 nautical miles away from the airport. Trying to get some weather so I could see what runways they're using. They have 1533, 28, and 10. And we'll see. And we're going over to the Freeman Jet Center, FBO. Probably get some fuel. Still getting rocked around a little bit. As you can see though, if you look out there, definitely getting a little clearer. Like once you get past this like layer over here. And like I said, over top of this, so this looks like this is about 5,500. That's about 1,000 feet above me. It doesn't look like it, but trust me, it is. And it's between like 5,500 and I think 6, but there's some places where it's going up to 6.5 because it's climbing a little bit. So, but above that, it's cool. But like I said, I didn't know how far this was going to extend. So that's why I decided to just get underneath it, get Carol involved in the flight so I could see where I was and what was happening, and let Carol do her thing. Slow her down a little bit. Oh my goodness, yeah, it was a little feisty.
Runway 28 ILS, marker on service. Syracuse approach 126.12, good day.
26.12 for 41 Charlie. Thank you for your help. Good day. Syracuse approach, November 1541 Charlie with Quebec, 4,500.
November 1541 Charlie, Syracuse approach, altimeter 3007. Proceeding bound for right base for my 10.
Right base for 10, and altimeter is 3007, I believe.
Paper.
So I'm going to do a right base for runway 10.
So it's definitely disappointing that my cameras died, the one back over my head and the one looking forward. So you can't see me doing this landing, but I'm coming into Syracuse Airport on runway 10 or 10. And yeah, it was so amazing to see like the whole city and all that kind of stuff. And my cameras died, but I'm coming in and a little gusty and all that kind of stuff. So let's get her on the ground. Here we go. Okay, so welcome to Syracuse University. Now I'm going over here to the Freeman Jet Center. So this is where you can land if you have like a smaller airplane. If you want, you can land across over there where the commercial stuff is, but I figured, why be over there? And as you can see, I'm getting fuel in Charlie now. So I'm gonna go over here, check in, and then catch an Uber. Now, what would be cool is if they had a crew car. Doubtful, I don't think so, but you know what, we'll hold our hope just to see. All right, I'll see you on the other side once we get through all of the mishmash. Okay, so I'm outside the airport. We're the airport, the Freeman Jet Center, and just waiting for my Uber driver to come, and or Uber, actually I do Lyft just because that seems to be what comes up. So just waiting for the Lyft driver to come. And yeah, and then we'll make our way over to the park. Now it's gonna be interesting because the skies are definitely a little interesting. I saw some clouds up above there, so it's gonna be interesting for sure. So we'll see how it plays out, but yeah, can't wait. And I'm so excited. Now the Lyft driver got there in no time, and we were getting ready to pull on out of the airport. And just as I was pulling off, my wife sent me a text about clouds in Doylestown. Oh boy. And of course I started to freak out a little bit because I had already seen that movie play before, right? When I was flying from New Haven back to Doylestown. So as you can see out the window there, it is pretty cloudy. So I am a little nervous and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stay for the cookout at all. And as you can see here, I made it to the park. And I'm just kind of looking around, and I gotta tell you, at this point I'm looking at the skies. You can see me zooming in, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to stay and wait for people to show up. And so I chickened out, and I basically called the Lyft back, and Des basically said, look, I need to go back and I need to get out of here. And it's a good thing I did, because look what happened. Yeah, on the way back, the skies just opened up, and it was exactly what I was suspecting was going to happen, and I didn't want to be stuck. And as you can see, I still had some contact with the ground, but yeah, it got real gnarly real quick. And I was glad I just got back out of here, even though I didn't get a chance to see anybody. But wait, what happened? I mean, what happened to the cookout? What happened to seeing your people and having a good time? I was so worried about, and my instincts were kind of like playing with me a little bit as I was walking through the park in Syracuse. And, I just had this feeling that, I heard the forecast. It says storms are not supposed to start until 8 o'clock at night, but then they were going to ramp up and continue through Sunday. And so remember a couple videos ago, back when I had that video that I posted called Divert or Die, and I got stuck in Connecticut and had to stay overnight? Well, okay, so if I would have gotten stuck in Syracuse, I don't think it would have been a big deal, because there was a couple hotels and I could have figured out, and plus I could have called some people and stuff like that just to let them know I was there. But my concern was not only was I going to be stuck Saturday into Sunday, but probably Sunday into Monday, because Sunday was the worst weather day of the weekend. So I was really worried about that. Plus, as I'm catching the Uber from Syracuse Airport to the park, Onondaga Park or whatever, my wife sent me a text and she says, "Hey, listen, I just want to let you know, it's starting to get a little cloudy here." And as soon as she said that, I immediately looked up into the sky and I saw some cumulus clouds begin to tower up a little bit. And so I just said to myself, I am just not comfortable. So by 3:15, I was back in an Uber on my way back to Syracuse Airport. And, it was a shame because I didn't get to see anybody. I don't even know if the cookout even happened. Let's just put it this way. I went to this place in the park near a pool, and there was music being played and all kind of stuff, but you could tell it was early because there weren't a lot of people. There was a ice cream truck and all that kind of stuff. So that could have been it, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I just wasn't in the place where I wanted to get stuck, and it looks like it was gonna be one of those things where this thing, if it happened, wasn't gonna happen, at the designated time of 2:00. So I just decided, you know what, I'm gotta get out of here. So I got in the Uber, went back to the airport, loaded up. Fortunately, I had already received all the fuel that I needed, so I was ready to go. And I didn't even take the time to set the cameras up to show you, me taking back off from Syracuse and coming back to Doylestown. And this shot here with the rain, that's all basically, iPhone footage. So I climbed up 7,500 feet, was, fat and happy. And then all of a sudden, I could see directly in front of me, there was some clouds building, but to the east, it was a little clearer. To the west, it was no bueno. And also I noticed that the ceilings were dropping. So I initially climbed down to 5,500. And then by the time I got to Allentown Airport, I was with Allentown Approach. ATC was like, yeah, you might want to go down. So I went down to 3,500. They kind of guided me through their airspace and the skies opened up. Now they did ask me if I wanted vectors around the light precipitation, because of the fact that, I was like, all right, I want to make sure that I'm maintaining all kinds of situational awareness. I had at least 4 to 5 miles of viz, even though it was raining lightly and I can still have contact with the ground. At that point, I put Carol back on, Carol being the autopilot, and let her do her thing. And I actually even used the autopilot to shoot the RNAV GPS approach to runway 5 at Doylestown. And I wish I could fly like Carol, because she flew that, that course reversal like a champ and down the minimums, and then I was good. So that's unfortunately how that ended. So I've got to go back to Syracuse. I've got to do this again. This can't be the way this story ends, but unfortunately this is the way this flight ends. And that's the one thing about general aviation and being a VFR only pilot. Things are unpredictable, and, plans change sometimes by the minute, by the hour, by the day, all of that kind of stuff. So, Big Brother Butch, sorry I didn't get to see you if you came, and, some other folks, and there was so many folks I was hoping to run into and see and all that kind of stuff. So, at any rate, that's it. That was a bust, but hopefully there'll be something else and I'll be able to fly back and see people and all that kind of stuff. So at any rate, that's it. Russ Kid, Russ Can Fly. I'm out. Next time, Syracuse. All right. Peace.